Marty Ricker, I'll tell you what, we've introduced him, I've introduced him, you've introduced him. He wants the world to introduce him.
He
as
wants
the
Michael
king.
Buffer to introduce him, I think.
I'll
Good
tell you
grief.
one thing, he's upset. He signed a match for the TV title of Southern States against Eddie Golden. Eddie Golden missed his plane connections. He could not get here. Brian Overbay said, Joe Wheeler, I will step up. I'll take the match. Ring the bell. And I tell you what, now Brian Overbay gets his revenge from December from Beau James on Christmas night. Burnt Brian Overbay with a ball of fire. Now Beau meets Brian Overbay in the ring, and he don't want to meet him, Marty.
Beau James is the Southern States television champion. I thought anytime you wrestled on television, the television championship was at stake for the first 15 minutes. I could be wrong.
Well, supposedly it is supposed to be, but now Beau James is screaming it's a non-title match because he doesn't want to put the belt up against Brian Overbay. It's been since December, since these men have met. Brian Overbay's got revenge. Now Beau James is screaming, Rob Knight, get in here and make him break.
Well, I know what, Mike, you know exactly what it feels like to be burned by a Beau James fireball. Brian Overbay was the first one to feel it back in, I guess it was December. You felt it shortly after the first of the year. I fortunately have not, but Brian Overbay has got revenge on his mind, and he's had almost 7 or 8 months to think about, or 6 months actually, to think about this match.
And Beau James, Brian Overbay told me earlier today, he said, Mike Williams, I have not thought about anything else but Beau James and revenge, and today Brian's got his chance right here on the main event to get his revenge, and he cocks back to unload that hand, and see, Beau covers up in the corner, Marty.
Well, Beau James is wanting Rob Knight to disqualify Brian Overbay. I tell you what, Brian Overbay from right here in Kingsport, Tennessee, and the fans are solidly behind Brian Overbay here at the Kingsport Civic Auditorium, one of their own.
I tell you what, Brian Overbay of Kingsport, he's got his own people here, and they want to see him take it to Beau James. They want to see him get revenge. They go call an elbow. Beau backs up. He don't want to tie up with Brian Overbay because he knows 6 months of frustration is in the mind of Brian Overbay. All Overbay can think about is making mincemeat out of Beau James.
Well, Beau James is just ticked off because, as far as we know, this is an SSW television title match. It was signed as a title match. The only man other than the board of directors that can make it a non-title match is Commissioner Joe Wheeler.
That's
Wheeler
right.
is backstage tending to some business back there. We don't exactly know what's going on backstage, but he has not come out and said, no, it's not a title match. We have to assume that it is.
Well, that's right, we do, and until Joe Wheeler gets here, which we called for him, and he wasn't available, so we're still saying it's a Southern States title event right here today, and I tell you what, Beau James has got the referee, Rob Knight, tore up, but now Overbay's telling him, hey, just get out of the way, Robbie, let me have a hold of Beau James. That's all he wants. Overbay, he don't really care about the title. Of course, he'd love to have it. I know that. He's a former Southern States heavyweight champion. He would take the TV title and wear it with pride and honor, but really, he just wants his hands on Beau James.
The SSW Television Championship, one of the most prestigious titles in East Tennessee because of Southern States exposure on both Southern States main events and on SSW After Midnight. And oh, Beau James gets a fistful of seat there. Third row, piano side, right in the face.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Beau James is in a world of hurt. He's doing it to himself. Beau James is leaving. He said he's had enough. And I tell you what, Rob Knight starts that count. Beau James has got a 10 count to get back to the ring. And I tell you what, Beau's headed back, Marty.
Yeah, Beau doesn't want any Brian Overbay. We've documented the history between these two men. Brian Overbay has come back to SSW and has really just sort of quietly worked his way up. Hasn't said a lot about Beau James. He's talked a lot to me and to you about his desire to get revenge on Beau, but Brian's been, sort of quietly in the mid-cards, quietly in the early matches, waiting patiently for this opportunity. He finally gets it this morning on television to get his revenge on the handsome one, Beau James.
Well, Marty, it goes back to Beau James and Brian. They were tag team partners.
Yeah, that's true.
They were Southern States tag team champions. And then on Christmas night, in front of everybody, everybody. Beau James called Brian Overbay to the ring and he said, Brian, I've got a Christmas present for you. He had a Christmas present there. Beau offered it to Brian. Brian said, thank you, Beau. While he was opening his Christmas gift from Beau James hit him in the face with a ball of fire. Marty Ricker, I've been there. I've felt that fire. I know what it feels like. And I tell you what, I love to see Beau James get beat up because, frankly, I thought he ended my career as well as Brian Overbay.
Well, the night you were burned was my first night with Southern States Wrestling. I was kind of in the back, sort of meeting everybody, shaking hands and getting to know everybody with Southern States Wrestling. And I heard that the announcer, Mike, had been burned by Beau James, and I was very close to saying, okay guys, see ya. Nice knowing you, but I'm glad to see you're okay. You've recovered fully, and Brian Overbay looking for his revenge. Side headlock by Beau James. Beau James has held every single title there is to hold in Southern States Wrestling and some other organizations as well. Beau James spending some time in Nashville and Memphis as well in his career, and he's got the King of Kingsport, and he wears that banner proudly.
Oh yeah, he does. And I tell you what, I was just like Brian Overbay. I trusted Beau James at one time, and when I trusted Beau, he was one of my dearest friends, and we went everywhere together. We rode the roads together. But I tell you what, after he burned me with the fire, I have never trusted him again. And I tell you what, now he's worried about KC. He's needing help. Beau James is starting to bleed, and I tell you what, Brian Overbay is just saying, hey, come on, let me have at him. But I tell you what, Beau's doing everything, Marty, he can do to keep Brian Overbay off of him.
KC Thunder off of camera shot, but KC Thunder near the entranceway watching this very, very closely. Beau James is being checked over by referee Rob Knight for international objects. I guess we're not allowed to say foreign objects anymore. They're international objects.
Well, I'll tell you what, Beau James reached into the tights and he got something. He's got it in that hand. And I'll tell you one thing, he'll use it, Marty. He doesn't care. He'll do anything he can. Hey, he feels like his back is to the wall, and to this point, he will use something.
I tell you what, Brian Overbay, anytime Beau James is sort of shying away with that hand, he's got to be thinking in the back of his mind, fireball.
I tell you what, you will. Every time you see Beau go for something, you always think it's that fireball, because I tell you what, give the devil his due. Beau James is good with a fireball. He can throw one, and he's got two things he loves the best. It's the fireball and the pile driver, and he's an expert at both of them.
Well, the pile driver allegedly banned in the state of Tennessee, but sometimes Beau gets away with it behind the officials' backs. There have been some legendary flamethrowers in this sport. The Sheik one. Classy Freddie Blassie, I think, used to throw some fire on occasion. The late, great Eddie Gilbert, Jerry the King Lawler, all great fire throwers. And you've got to put Beau James up there on that list of those great legendary wrestlers that has fire in his arsenal.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he loves to use it, and he can use it at any time. And I'll tell you this, you never know when it's coming either.
Yeah, I guess you're speaking from experience there. Beau's wanting to go for a test of strength. We're watching that right hand of Beau that he has clenched there. I believe he still has something in that hand. Boom! Oh, hello. Turn out the lights. The party's over for Brian Overbay as he was hit with that whatever was in the hand of Beau James.
Beau James telling Rob Knight, what, are you crazy? I didn't have a thing. It was just, he said he used...
Claimed a Mongolian chop, maybe.
He said he used the big chop on Brian Overbay. There he goes for the cover. 2 count. Brian Overbay's out. Just a 2 count. And Beau says, hey, Rob Knight, that was a 3. But no, it wasn't. It was a 2. But there's that kick of the king, handsome Beau James. And I tell you what, Beau's deadly in that ring. He knows his craft. He's one of the finest wrestlers you'll find today. Hey, I'll give the devil his due. The man is on his game. He doesn't keep the TV title by not knowing how to wrestle, Marty.
Well, you got KC Thunder again on the entranceway, watching very closely. Wouldn't be surprised to see him interject himself in this match if the need arises. But right now, Beau James appears to have everything in hand with a front face lock.
Handsome Beau James has a reverse chin lock, and he says, I've got him now. I've got Brian Overbay where I want him. Now, Rob Knight checking the arm of Brian Overbay. Overbay. It's went down twice. If it goes down a third time, it's over with. But Brian Overbay making his way back. The big shots to the midsection of Beau James. Beau gets him a handful of hair.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, he takes Overbay back down to the canvas. I had my mind on Joe Wheeler.
More and more wrestlers nowadays are getting their hair cut for that particular reason. If they have the long manes and the ponytail, it's very easy to be grabbed and pulled down. So you're seeing a lot of wrestlers who used to sport mullets wearing a lot shorter hair. But Brian Overbay hasn't made that step yet, so it was easy for Beau James just to grab it and yank him down.
Now, Beau's got the rear chin lock again on Brian Overbay. The arm went down twice, but here comes Overbay. He's making his way back up to his feet. There's a big shot to the midsection, two of them. Overbay, he breaks free. Hey, he's off the ropes. Oh, yeah, but that big kick right into the middle of the midsection of Beau James.
Oh, in the words of the late, great Gordon Soley, right to the lower midsection.
Oh, you just don't do that. And I'll tell you what, Beau got him a choke going on there. He put the knee right across the throat of Brian Overbay. Beau James knows every dirty trick in the book.
Yeah, he wrote some of them. And Brian Overbay is in the quarter slumping. And Rob Knight, Beau James wants Rob Knight to count, but there's really no reason for Rob to count. He's not in the ropes. He's not out of the ring. If Beau James wanted to attack like he's doing now, he could. Hard right hand to the side of the head of Brian Overbay. Overbay with a hard right hand to the bread baskets, the ample bread basket of Beau James.
Now, Beau James goes to the eyes and rakes the eyes of Brian Overbay. There to slow even the late, great Andre the Giant down.
Yeah.
The flying mare by Beau James, and now back into that rear chin lock.
Well, you know, Beau James likes to go for the eyes. They went for the eyes of Jimmy Golden over the past several months. Jimmy even having to wear an eye patch for a short time because of the dynasty. And once again, that rear chin lock, Beau James trying to wear the bigger, at least taller Brian Overbay down with that rear chin lock.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they went for the eyes on Jimmy Golden. That's a great point, Marty. They almost took his eye out. And I'll tell you what, Beau James will do anything to win, cheat, anything. He doesn't care. But Brian Overbay making his way back up to his feet. He decks that clothesline, decks another clothesline. Brian Overbay went for the big body press that Lou Thez used to use, and Beau James moved out of the way. Brian Overbay hit nothing but air and mat, Marty.
Indeed he did. He went for that flying body press. If he would have connected with Overbay's size, that could have resulted in the 3 count. But the lights were on, but no one was home. Pinning predicament there. Pinning cover for Beau James, 1-2. Once again, Overbay kicks out. Going to try a third time. And Overbay's just got too much gas in the tank.
I'll tell you what, 3 times referee Rob Knight totaled up a 2 count, but Overbay just kept coming up. I tell you what, he might be tired, he might be weary, but he's waited 6 months to get his hands on handsome Beau James, and the adrenaline, Marty, I've been in that ring. The adrenaline will keep you going and going and going.
I've only been in the ring one time. It was to referee a match in Irwin, a non-sanctioned match in Irwin. I know how the adrenaline was going in that match, and I can just imagine Brian Overbay in the ring, and I tell you what, he wants Beau James in the worst way, but right now Beau with outstanding match strategy. Overbay is taller. Overbay may weigh as much as Beau James just because of his height advantage. Doesn't look it, but because he's taller, he may weigh about the same. But Beau James is trying to keep him on the mat and wear him down, and that's great strategy.
I'll tell you what, Beau went for a backdrop, Brian Overbay with a big leapfrog, and now both men went for the clothesline at the same time. Both men are down. Referee Rob Knight, Johnny on the spot, starts a double count on both men, Marty.
Indeed. Rob Knight telling the count up to 6, I believe. They're both up to their knees. Referee Knight was stopping the count as they return to their feet. And a hard right hand to the midsection of handsome Beau James. Another one to the bread basket of the SSW TV champion.
Beau James came up first, but I tell you what, Brian Overbay was right there. Overbay saying, now, Beau James, I've got you where I want you. Revenge is mine. I tell you what, there are those right hands. I'm getting excited, Marty. I've waited 6 months to see Overbay get a hold of Beau James, and now he's putting some knots on the head.
Indeed. 10 as a matter of fact, on the head of handsome Beau James. There's number 11. There's number 12. And Rob Knight gets pulled into the path of number 11, and Rob Knight gets KO'd. Rob Knight has just been pummeled as of lately on recent editions of SSW Main Event. Poor old Rob Knight is battered and bruised.
Beau James reached out, pulled Rob Knight into the center of that action, and I tell you what, I've been in there as a referee many times, and you can get hurt quick. Now, Beau James going to the center rope.
Another patented move by the handsome one. Could this be the fist drop?
I tell you what, that's what he's going for, Marty. He was right on it, and if he went for it, Overbay moved out of the way, and there was nothing but match.
Oh, he dropped him. He dropped him, goes for the cover. There's a three. Well, Overbay counts three, but he is not. Wait a minute, they're asking for the bell to be rung. Is Brian Overbay the champion? He counted himself out. Now, wait a minute. Brian Overbay has the belt, and Rob Knight is raising his hand in victory, but the belt is being taken away. The belt's going to be given back to Beau James. I believe Rob Knight may have called for a disqualification. A disqualification. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match by disqualification, Brian Overbay. The title cannot change hands on a disqualification, so still SSW TV champion, handsome Beau James.